Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
Oh, he turned it!
No!
Oh, he turned it! No! No, no!
We've just restarted after the first caution of the day when Kerry Earnhardt tipped David Green into the wall. Green in the garage making repairs. Jeff Fuller out of the race. Everyone else out there and running. Brian Vickers, nice move on that restart on the outside to pick up a spot.
You know, as good as the Hendrick cars are here, Jimmy Johnson and all of them, I got to think that's going to help Brian and really get his car dialed in, because you saw him down there earlier talking to Jimmy Johnson about what the track was like.
Yeah, they were very concerned about that race car. You heard them talking about it in the beginning of the race there, that the car just not doing what it was needing to do. Talked to his crew chief this morning, Lance McGrew. They changed everything on that race car that you could possibly change at a racetrack.
Looking back from Todd Bodine at Jamie McMurray. McMurray picked up a spot on the restart.
And, you know, Larry, we say that a lot. I know people at home wonder what we're doing. But that's what you do. You just get to a point where everything about the car is wrong. The driver, what do you ask the driver?
Can you tell me anything that's good? You like anything.
So you just throw that all away and start all over again.
Wow. Todd is flying. He went past the 19 car, which this week is Casey Mears, and just past the number 6 of Damon Lusk. So that'll move Bodine up into 13th, make that 12th.
And that was another car that had all kinds of parts and pieces laid on the ground this morning. I talked to that crew chief, Tony Liberati, and he said Todd was complaining about the car turning itself. Just didn't have a good feel for the car.
This was one of the places 3 or 4 or 5 years ago when they came over here with an odd kind of tire that nobody liked, that we really started working with the caster. Putting a lot of caster in the front of the car to make the driver have some feel.
Third place battle, Darrell. Michael against Scott Riggs.
Kyle Busch in that 87, if Michael's going to open the door, he's going to try to take advantage of it as well. But Scott Riggs really gets a good bite, and that's something you'll see a lot of these cars do in 3 and 4. Be able to run the high side, keep those things wound up.
Kyle Busch to the inside for third. Boy, Kurt, how do you throttle back an 18-year-old? I mean, he's charging that thing to the front. Wave there to Michael.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good on the low side there. He was able to take advantage of Michael looking underneath the 10 car. And you're right, you're not going to throttle him back. He's got the quickest lap so far of the race.
Kevin Harvick out front now by 0.7 of a second on Tony Raines. Scott Riggs, Kyle Busch, Michael Waltrip. Then Kenseth Hornaday, Casey Kane, and Dave Blaney.
Just looking at the scoring monitor, really Kevin Harvick is a couple of tenths quicker than almost any car out there. The only car really close to him on the stopwatch right now at lap 14 is maybe Scott Riggs in the 10.
And you're talking about Kyle, and my owners always told me, most owners will tell you, I'd a lot rather try to slow a guy down than I had to try to speed him up. And I don't think they got to worry about speeding this cat up.
Here's another cat that's pretty fast every week. This is a battle for 7th place. Casey Kane in the 38 car, Ron Hornaday in the 2 car. Casey Kane, he just got where he's at the front of the pack, qualifying and racing there every week.
Pretty good little shoe. I tell you, watch him run those midgets and Silver Crown cars, and a pretty good shoe.
Larry Gunzelman has taken his backup car to the garage, crashed his primary car in the final minute of practice prior to qualifying yesterday. So puts 2 cars out of the race.
And Larry, I tell you, that 31 car, they made a great change there, I think. Dave Blaney at the wheel, and that sucker switched to a Ford, and he's motored on up through there too.
Well, I think there's 2 reasons that's a good change. And this is not to talk bad about whoever was building the motors for that car before this, but one, they went to the Ford, which Blaney's used to running in the Winston Cup, but Jasper Penske Jasper power plant. I think that's going to be good.
Michael Waltrip takes it back past Kyle Busch. That'll flip-flop 4th and 5th place. Saw the autism ribbon there on the back bumper of Michael's car. A big golf tournament up in Wilmington, Delaware next week on the way to Dover.
I'm playing.
It's still a big tournament. It should be a lot of fun. Troy Aikman will be up there.
Yeah.
A lot of the Fox folks and some Cup drivers as well. Big knot of cars here. Randy LaJoie right in the midst of it. 22nd place at stake here. Jeff Green in that number 32. Having a little trouble staying on the bottom there ahead of Shane Meal.
But I'm going to tell you what, you see right there, started 43rd, and he's all the way up to 24th, so he's definitely on the move.
Did we mention drivers that had to start in the back today?
Well, you know, there was several teams that had to go to the back, but they qualified at the back. Jeff Green was one of them. They changed motors, but he qualified, had to use a championship provisional. And just remember, Jeff Green has won this race twice. He won it in 2001 and 2002.
Johnny Sauter and Larry Gutzman were the other drivers who started back at the back. Damon Lusk has drifted back from his 10th place starting position. He's fallen 11 spots to 21st in the Tommy Baldwin racing car. Matt?
And Mike, he continues to fade. He reported the owner and crew chief today, Tommy Baldwin, that something was amiss in the engine. He switched it back up ignition box. That doesn't seem to have helped. Now he feels like he may have lost a cylinder on that number 6 machine.
Well, it's a shame because the Stay Right Dodge practiced and qualified quite well. Michael up to second, passing the outdoor champ Chevy Tony Raines.
He is on the move. He's starting to move up the racetrack just a little bit, run that little higher groove, and he's just picking them one at a time off.
Harvick's lead now just half a second over Michael Waltrip.
Well, that's DEI power against Childress power right there. And Mikey moved up to the high side, and he does that here every time we come here. Usually works pretty good, particularly early in the race, and he's going to charge right to the lead.
He just drove right by Kevin. I have to believe Kevin saw him coming. It's like, you know, no sense in me pressing this envelope this early.
You can run up there high right now and really look good and run well. I got to believe before the day's over with, though, you'll want to ease your own back down around the bottom. I saw a little bit ago here the 2 and the 9 were racing real hard together, Biffle and Hornaday, and I think one of them got into the wall. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, it was the 9 car.
Greg Biffle making his first World Series start this year.
Driving for the team that Jeff Burton had a lot of success with over the past couple of seasons in Busch Racing. Biffle's first start since winning the Busch Series championship a year ago. Michael Waltrip has jumped out quickly to a 0.4 of a second lead over Kevin Harvick, Tony Raines, Scott Riggs, and rookie Kyle Busch.
Start your summer on a roll with Lucky. Pay me, man.